This time in Yerushalmi Shekalim. We're supposed to be doing Daf Samach Amud Aleph today in the article Osba edition, but we'll start from the bottom, Nun Testament base, the beginning of the Gemara Bar Kapara Amar, and that's 2 lines from the bottom, Nun Testament base in the Vilna Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi should be easy to find. It's the beginning of the Gemara. It's on Daf Lamed base on the base, and in the Vilna Baba Yerushalmi, it is the beginning of the Gemara, the fourth line down, Chav Beis Amud Aleph. Okay, so we have the, as we mentioned yesterday, famous Machlokas, Bar Kapara, Bar Yochanan. Bar Kapara, Ava Tumah Dvar Torah, Ava Tumah is the Raisa, Vlada Tumah is only Metami B'Rabban, B'Divrei. Yom Ben Zev said, Divrei Torah, they're both Dvar Torah. So the Kasha Rabbi Yochanan, of the Beis Shammai. So it's Kasha, it's difficult Rabbi Yochanan, according to Beis Shammai and our Mishnah. Beis Shammai, our main Beis Shammai said, everything should be burned inside, except for that which is becoming tamei with an avatuma outside. So ma ben avatuma b'chutz, ma ben v'avatuma b'chutz, zev zeh lo dvar Torah. In other words, if they're both Torah, why do we distinguish between Av and Blad? The family analysis, they're both Torah. But I feel Beis Hillel Makash, and even in Beis Hillel is not also difficult. Beis Hillel Amrina Kol Yisrael Pachutz, everything should be burnt outside, which should meet ma Vlada Tumah Bifnim, except that which came to Vlada Tumah Bifnim. Well, ma ben Vlada Tumah Bifnim, ma ben Ava Tumah Bifnim. Whether it's Vlad or Av shouldn't make a difference. Zev Zelo Dvar Torah is not both the Raisa. Lavi Barban El Dvar Kapara. So I like the Talmud Chadatin here, a very interesting Talmud Chadatin. So actually, I was looking at Mara Fulda. That's the interesting one. But so let's I'll read the Talmud Chadatin anyway. Lo Shak V'Tara Bana El Tusha Masis Liuda Bar Kapara. They only discussed it according to Bar Kapara, not according to Rabbi Yochanan. But Mara Fulda was more extensive. He says, "Perish Loyer Rabban Misasi Beis Medrash Lakshos Taran Zibri Rabbi Yochanan." He didn't try the Beis Medrash to ask questions, answer Rabbi Yochanan. Because it's not possible to resolve Mishnah according to him at all. But Mishnah Bar Kapara you must ask him. The involved words of Bar Kapara shows the Tartan to question and to resolve them. It's possible to resolve what he says. So the Mishnah should not be difficult. There's Havaya, Havaya, I think it's the the pathways were directed towards Bar Kapara's Shita because that they could reconcile. So Bekashta Bar Kapara, and so let's see what the Gemara has to say now. Bekashta Kapara al Beis Shammai. It's difficult for the Bar Kapara on Beis Shammai. Minikma b'avatum b'chutz. For in the case of Nikba b'avatum b'chutz. Well, Ma ben avatum ben b'chutz ben b'fnim. What's the difference whether avatuma is inside or outside? Zev zel lo dvar Torah. Are they not both the Raisa? So therefore, why should be a difference in halacha whether avatum b'chutz or avatum b'fnim? But it seems that they both should be burnt outside because they're two of the Raisa. We should try to get them out of the base hamikdash as soon as possible. So the Gemara responds that really Beis Shammai holds a Rabbi Akiva, and the whole begin Rabbi Akiva Amar Mokum to Master Shamtei Sreifaso, place where it becomes tummy, that's where you burn it. So therefore, because the Av Hatum, even though it became tummy with an Av Hatuma Bifnim, and we want to get it out as soon as possible, no, because we have Rabbi Akiva's Shita, which Beis Shammai holds of, which is that you should burn it inside if it became tummy inside. Now, it's not complete like Rabbi Akiva, because Rabbi Akiva holds, if he has, the Talmud Chadatin points out, it became tamei b'vlad hatuma b'chutz. According to Akiva, you burn outside, right? Don't bring it inside to burn it. According to Beis Shammai, you do bring it inside to burn it, but that works out still well according to Bar Kapara, because according to Bar Kapara, since Vlad Tumas anyway, that which came to Vlad Tumas not tamei the Raisa anyway, so therefore, Beis Shammai said, okay, you can bring it inside to burn it because it's not tamei anyway, the Raisa. So therefore, by avatu, it's like became tamei, but avatuma b'chutz, you wouldn't bring it inside to burn, right? That respect, also Akiva. They say it became tamei, that's how you burn it. But let's say it became tamei, but vlada tuma b'chutz, which is not really tamei. There, but Akiva holds even there you burn it outside. Beis Shammai holds no, it's better to burn it inside. You bring it inside to burn. Okay, so that then Gemara says, but what about Beis Hillel according to Bar Kapara? Va'afilu Beis Hillel leisi makasha, but even it's not different according to Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel mean hakoyse b'chutz, everything was burnt outside. Chutz b'shin b'vlada tuma bifnim, except with something which is tummy with vlada tuma became tummy with vlada tuma inside. Since they're both the Rabbanan, so therefore it's the no difference. Can't tell me Vlada to me bifnim barchutz, right? Again, so leisa vafil beisel leisa mekasha beisel me okay say b'chutz chutz mishim Vlada to me bifnim. What difference make? Vlada to me is not Vlada to me anyway. Maybe Vlada to me bifnim ben b'chutz is when we came to me. Is ever so limited for MD was not limited for him. So be consistent. Either both burn both them inside, both them inside. Why one inside, one outside? The way Reb Chaim puts it is perhaps a little bit more succinct. It says, since it became tummy outside, you don't bring it in, even though it's only Rabbanan. So if that's the case, why, if it became tummy inside, it's burnt inside, and you shouldn't care, right? You should take it outside. I'm not sure it's more succinct, but the same question, regardless. That's the question. In other words, make it the same no matter what. So the Gemara's answer here, I'm going to go with the Gra. With Reb Chaim also changed the gears to the Gra, and of course, like Chaim thing does. So the beginning of Rabbi Shimon, it's kind of Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon mar machol mashal mashkol shel mitzora. It said mishtalchin chutz l'shalosh machanos. It should be ein mevin l'shalosh machanos. You don't bring it into the food and beverage of a mitzora, which is a very very light tuma. You don't bring it in to the three machnos. You keep it outside, just like the Mitzvah himself is outside three machnos. Even his machol mishta, you keep outside the three machnos. So let's see that inside the Tachanun Charatin, who explains it very nicely. He says, "L'hachi mashni malchutz af levlada tuma midrabanan." Therefore, even that which comes to me, it was allowed to the rabbanon. Ein mavin also, even with allowed to the rabbanon, ein mavin also lifnim. It's like the machol mitzvah mishta show mitzvah. So the Chai goes on and says, Shimon said, I don't know where the reference is from. Rabbi Shimon time Azil, so he says, Rabbi Shimon's going according to his reasoning. So Perkam the Kalim b'Tosefta. And the first parak of Kalim b'Tosefta. Rabbi Shimon, Kashem she'ein Zovim Zavos Nidos V'yodas Nechos Narbais. It's like Zovim and Zavos and Nidos, and Yodos don't go to Arbais. They send them to Kormas in. Kach Mishkavan and Moshanak Moshan Chetzvem. So to them, Mishkav and Moshav also, like them, doesn't go to the Arbais. So it became Tomei as a result of contact with them, is not brought to Arbais. They don't go to Arbais. The Girsa is from Mishtachin Shibusha. He says the Girsa which we have in front of us is a distortion. There's a loch of Shiluach. So even that which came Tomei and Vlada Tumim Bifnim should be burnt outside for this reason. Vod Shiluach Ochli Mashkan Man Shmasei. We never heard of such a thing, and Ochli Mashkan had to be sent out. Reb Chaim adds a little bit of elaboration. He says that we see that there is no din Shiluach. You don't have to send the basar shenitma, at least bevlada tuma, which is the tuma kala, outside the Beis Hamikdash. You can burn it in place, but that which is even lighter tuma, like machom or mitzayro, whatever the get of tuma is by there, it's not brought into shalosh machanos, and so to here, the king tummy with vlada tuma outside the Beis Hamikdash is not brought into the Beis Hamikdash in order to burn, right? So you have to, just like ein machnis machol shematzara into even Yerushalmi, you know, something which came tummy to vlada tuma into the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, that's how we're going to Halacha Gimel to Halacha Dalet. Our Mishnah talks about the limbs of the various karbanos and how they used to bring them in a two-step procedure up to the mizbeach. So Ivar had tamid. Ivarim of the tamid initially nitanim mechatzi kevesh ulamata b'marav. They put on the halfway, slightly, somewhat less than halfway up the ramp, on the west side of the ramp, which is the the side towards the Kodesh, right? The sides toward the Heichal. Okay, so they would let's see the Karbaneda. Kohanim Mazochin and Pais before time Losam Loim Eli Masam Pam Echad. We're going to put him up in one step. El Nosim Masam Kevesh. Then Beholchin Lishkas Hakazis, like the Mishnah tells in Tommy. Then they go to Lishkas Hakazis. We cross Shema V'Chanka Chazim Makrim Varigam Mizbeach, and then they would put it on top of Mizbeach itself. Hakevesh Aroch Lamed Beis Amma. It was the 32 amos long. Mechetz Mechetz Mata Nosim Mosam. Which is less than 6 amos up, 6 amos up, and also Rogav Kevish Tezayin Amo, Tetzashul Temarav in the 8 more westerly Amos Inosa. Okay, so then they go Yichma and come back and put it on top. Shemusafin, the Tony Chatzi Kevish Umato B'Mizrach. They're put on the halfway at the Mizbech, less than halfway at the Mizbech on the east side of the Mizbech before they're brought up to the top of the Mizbech. Rosh Chodashim, the Karbanos of Rosh Chodesh, the Tanim al Karkov and Mizbech Shalom Malon. They're put on the Karkov and Mizbech, which is a part of the which we confronted that earlier in the Masechta, but we're going to have it again here, and that is on top of the Mizbech, as we shall see in the Gemara. Hashkalim Bikurim, going on to shifting gears here. Hashkalim Bikurim Eina Nogin Ela Bifnei Habayis. Hashkalim Bikurim, we can only the only customary to give Machzis Shekel when there's a purpose which to give it, which is the Korban Tzibor. We do Zeichel Machzis Shekel today, but that's only a Zeichel. We're supposed to say explicitly when you give the Zeichel Machzis Shekel, that is Zeichel Machzis Shekel. And Bikurim, the mitzvah being Bikurim, also is only when there's a Beis HaMikdash, and because it's supposed to be brought down and put down in the Beis HaMikdash, and not Bisman Hazeh. However, a Meiser Dogon, tithing of grain, Meiser Behemon, or the produce, Meiser Behemon, tithing of animals, Ubuchairos, and firstborns, Nogin Ben Bifnei Abayis and Shlo Bifnei Abayis, although in our day and age, we no longer do Meiser Behemon anymore. But as the Gemara says, the Stakha Chayim brings down that for the last paragraph of Chodesh, stuff Nun Gimel Amraf, it says should be Tlu Minei Takona. They were in battle because Takona, obviously, what are you going to do with the Ma'aser Behema? You can't bring his korban nowadays and to leave it around to get some mum. If you don't have to, you don't do it. You don't have a choice. The Ma'aser Behema, just don't do it. And so, but the theory, all these things, no, because being no b'fnei bayis, no being shlo b'fnei bayis. Hamakdish shkolim bikurim. If you take consecrate shkolim bikurim b'zman hazeh, even though you weren't supposed to, so the aray's a kodesh. It's kodesh because the final analysis, it's effective to make the kodesh. You're just not supposed to. Rabbi Shimon argues on this last part. It says Omer Shimon Omer Homer bikurim kodesh eino kodesh. Somebody says these bikurim are kodesh, they're not kodesh. There's no shem bikurim that can take effect bisman hazeh. And the Korban explains bikurim eino kodesh t'chsibu behedia tavi beis Hashem ein shem bikurim chal shelo b'fnei habayis. If it can't be brought to beis Hashem, then bikurim does not take effect. Okay, the says Gemara. Ezu karka mizbeach. This karka mizbeach, which is mentioned by the Musaf Rosh Chodesh. What's that? Amma ben keren lekeren mokom miluk raglei hakohanim. So it's the amma between each keren where the kohanim would walk on the mizbeach at the time that they do the avodah. So the article note 19 brings down. Somebody else made it down. Maybe somebody else made it down as well. No. It says, brings down Gemara's Vachin Dasan Beis Mouth, which asks, how could the Kohen go between the Chronos? When they would get to the Keren, there would be blocked, right? So therefore, the Gemara amends the Bryce and says, it's the Mokom Hiluch Raglei Kohanim Amma. In other words, besides the Amma between the Chronos, there was also another inner track, which we saw earlier in the Masechta when we talked about it, which was the actual Karkov, where they would actually walk, and not the Amma between the cross, but the track immediately of an Amma internal to that. Reb Chaim actually notes that at the end of the 6th paragraph, where he talks about the Karkov, it was clear that it was also there. Because the Yerushalmi, it's not about Mamish, the Mokum between Chronos, but rather the area, the inner track of an Amma adjacent to that. And we had a picture in the art school back then. Let's see if we can find it quickly to show you again. Yes, this is in Moshe Rabbeinu's Mizbeach, so obviously it's going to be different in the Beis Hamikdash. But the Karkov is one Amma. It's internal to the Amma between the Chronos. Okay, so I want to ask a question about Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. Musa Shabbos and Musa Rosh Chodesh, Musa Mikodim. We have Musa Shabbos, Musa Rosh Chodesh. Which sacrificed first? Rabbi Yirmiyah said, "Meimar Musa Shabbos, Musa Rosh Chodesh, Musa Rosh Chodesh Kodim." He said that the Musa Rosh Chodesh comes first. V'chel Rabbi Yirmiyah Minada, and its evidence was found the following. It says that Shir Shal Yom, Shir Rosh Shabbos, Shir Rosh Chodesh, Shir Rosh Chodesh Kodim. The Shir Rosh Chodesh comes first. Therefore, just like the Shir Rosh Chodesh comes first, so therefore the carbon comes first as well. So that's Gemara. No. Rabbi Shani Tam on there it's different. Rabbi Chiyav Shem Yochid they pass Modir Shir Rosh Chodesh. So and it's in order to make it known that Basin was Mekadosh Rosh Chodesh at this time. Takachat in the lab it's a little bit. They pass Ochim Tais Rabbi Yochanan Bavli Sukkah. Daicha Shivusa Abdin Lekera. We do this. Give a shir do the shir Rosh Chodesh. Even though Todev Shena Todev Koidem, right? The more Shabbosos in the year than the Rosh Chodeshim, in order to kiru lakol the Mshitla Basin shekitru kilchaso. Everybody should know it's obvious that the basin is encouraged to chodesh properly. Loy gangen leiv odam alav. People will not be confused. Lo ra'u chidush. Most of you did not see the chidush halavana. They didn't see the new moon, so they made this heker. It's a dafka b'shir. It's supposed to akrova. And so he says here, I was going to see in a moment actually. Here we should go out in terms of Akrava, we should go after the Dirus, after the prevalence and frequency. And the Gra actually takes out what it says here and puts it later on, but we'll go with it over here. I'm not sure, I don't think Reb Chaim makes the change. He does not. So, so what'd you do? According to Rabbi Yosef, Sheikh at Musay Shabbos, you have to show the Musay Shabbos first to Dirim, forming them Shir Rosh Chodesh, right? You say the Shir Rosh Chodesh. Bram Hacha, as opposed to the actual Avodah, Musay Shabbos and Musay Rosh Chodesh, then the actual Avodah, without not including the Shira, Musay Shabbos and Musay Rosh Chodesh, Musay Shabbos Kodim, Al Shem Kol HaTadim Mechaber, Kodim is Chaber because they're more prevalent, so they come first. And that brings us to the top of Samach Aleph Amud Aleph, and therefore we will stop here today. Hashem being able to complete the final block tomorrow.